I'm Dr. Jeanette Raymond, psychologist, psychotherapist, and relationship expert, here to talk to you today about how hidden envy can ruin your relationship with your partner. And I'm going to tell you the story of some clients I had a long time ago, where this was the issue between them, and it really made them feel like they had no stable ground on which to base their relationship. It was very, very precarious when they came to see me. And what we discovered was that envy was at the root of it all. So I'm going to make up some names for the client. I'm going to call her Yvonne, and I'm going to call him Philip. And Yvonne married Philip in her late 20s, and he was in his mid-30s. And she married into his family that were reasonably well off. And she'd come from a family of girls where there was a lot of age difference, and she experienced her elder siblings getting a lot of attention and being given things, and she was kind of left out and had to bring up herself. So when she got married to Phil, and she saw that her sisters-in-law were being spoiled by their mother-in-law, Phil's mother, that Phil's mother's grandchildren were the apples of her eye, that she doted on them, that she spent all her time with them, she bought them things, she took them places, she babysat for her kids, she did everything for all her children, and completely enslaved herself to them. Well, this was the total opposite experience that Yvonne had growing up. So when she married Phil, all that envy got stirred up and stirred up and stirred up inside her, and basically she took it out on Phil. She made him into the source of her frustration and anger and envy. She complained and beat him up physically, and not physically, yes, sometimes physically, but usually in words, about how mean he was, how he wouldn't give her everything that she wanted, when she wanted, how she wanted, and he became the source of all the bad feeling that she had inside her, because she wanted to be treated the way her mother-in-law treated her children, her grandchildren, and her husband. She had so much envy for them that she couldn't see what she had. She had a good husband, he was loyal, he was faithful, he gave her money, he let her buy whatever she wanted, go places she wanted, took her on vacations, but it didn't, in her eyes, compare to everything that her sisters and brothers-in-law were getting from their parents. And things got exceedingly worse when Yvonne and Phil had children. Their first child made Yvonne extremely envious, because her daughter was getting attention from Phil, her husband, and there became a competitiveness arose out of envy. So Yvonne would do lots of things and create all sorts of crises and illnesses in order to get Phil's attention, and Phil would feel like, but I need to attend to the baby because the baby is helpless and can't do anything. They need me to make them feel good and comfortable and loved, and you're a grown-up, Yvonne, go take, I'm here with you, but you don't need me to baby you. But Yvonne did. That's what she wanted. She wanted the same kind of attention and love that the kids were getting. And the envy became such a big deal between them that they couldn't communicate anymore. They were like strangers to each other. And they had no way of dealing with this gradually engulfing chasm that was forming between them, until they came to see me. And each one had their issue with the other. Phil felt that he was giving her everything and doing things, and he was available and helpful and understanding about her situation, her tiredness, her need for attention, and so on, but that he couldn't take it away from his child. And she felt like, hey, I'm the one who should be your number one. anyone who's taking that spot away from me is a threat, and therefore I'm envious of them. And in order to prove your love, you have to take away all your attention from everything else and everyone else and give it to me, and then I'll feel like you're paying attention to me. I'm your priority, that's my spot, and nobody's going to take it away from me. So gradually and very, very, very gently and slowly, I helped Yvonne express her envy, and I helped Phil understand it, because he just couldn't get his head around this, because he was giving her everything she said she wanted and still it wasn't enough. And I had to work carefully with them, like I'm telling you, so that they both became co-parents to their daughter, and then they had a son after that, who again became a source of envy and competition for Yvonne. So helping them find ways of connecting that reduced the envy and made them a couple, so that they could be a couple and co-parents, rather than Phil feel he had to be torn between his wife and his children, and Yvonne feeling like everybody's a threat to her connection with Phil, and that she had to fight everybody for it. So what I helped them do was to find tiny activities that they could do together, small, tiny, short ones that made them feel they were on the same wavelength and that didn't threaten Yvonne's envy. Going for a walk together and leaving the kids with a babysitter, not with Phil's mother, because that would make Yvonne feel envious of them and that she would take it out on Phil later on. You know, going away for a weekend, making a meal together, putting their child to bed together, one person reading one page of the story, another the other one. So it was kind of evening everything up, because that was the only way Yvonne felt less threatened. It had to be visibly equal. And when that threat began to subside and she was able to give her children the love that she had for them, but that was forestalled and kind of kept in abeyance because the envy was the issue, very gradually Phil was able to also feel like he wanted to be with Yvonne and that he didn't have to choose between his children and her. But it was very, very complicated work, and everything had to be on an even keel. So the only way you can deal with this kind of envy, if you're having it in your relationship, maybe, you know, a relative is envious of you giving your attention to someone else, or they want it all, or they're making you choose, or you're the one who's envious. Think about equal playing fields rather than wrenching things away, tiny activities that you do with someone that reduces the envy. And it's really about having somebody all for yourself. And the best way to do it is to have daily activities, routines that you do on an everyday basis that you can start doing with your loved one so that it doesn't create envy. The secret to envy is to reduce the threat and make it about togetherness. And doing things together makes you feel like you've got something, so you don't need to be envious. It makes the one who's feeling torn happy that they don't have to take sides, and they can understand the envy, because we've all felt it from time to time. Another way of dealing with envy is to really write about it in your journal. Talk to your loved ones about it. Don't act from this aggressive place, because envy makes you aggressive and it makes you want to grab everything and keep it for yourself and throw everything that's a threat away. But in the end, the thing that you've grabbed doesn't want to be with you, because it's not coming from love. It's coming from a sense of wanting to be possessive. So envy is bad if you act on it, because you act in an aggressive manner, which doesn't bode well for loving relationships. And it makes whatever you're wanting to possess sour, because they don't want to be possessed by you. So don't forget, envy engenders aggression and possessiveness. Doing things together creates togetherness, reduces envy, and reduces the threat that somebody has to pick you and do what you want and throw their lives away so that you don't have to feel envious. So just remember that. Journal, do things together, and make togetherness your mantra. And make envy, possessiveness, and aggressiveness things that you want to calm, reduce, and subside by bringing togetherness and togetherness and togetherness into your life, because that's the antidote to envy, aggression, and possessiveness. I hope this has helped you. Do let me know. And if you've had a situation like the one I just said, or you have other situations in which you're feeling envious, or you have somebody who's envious and you have to deal with their aggression and possessiveness, I'd love to hear from you. Okay. Signing off for now. See you next time.